Welcome to Around the Association. We're back. We haven't been here in probably like a week and a half, 2 weeks. We've been kind of busy, but the NBA draft happened last Thursday. It was a pretty weird night, to be honest. I just think that there were a lot of weird picks, and it was pretty interesting to watch because I don't think a lot of guys fell, and a lot of picks were taken a little too high. But I just want to get your initial reactions on the night, and then we can go over some of the winners and losers of the night. So I'll start with you, Connor. Like, what was just your initial reaction of the NBA draft?
I think on the pod that we did before the draft, I said I was less concerned about who was going where and more concerned about the trades. Um, I don't think. I mean, besides the Ibaka blockbuster, I guess you can call that a blockbuster one. There wasn't really anything going on. More like kind of meaningless trades, like Marco Bellinelli for 22 or something like that. Like there wasn't as much of the fireworks that I was hoping to see. There was a lot of good talent that went off the board. Like you said, people like Deontay Davis and Scal dropped like big time, like to the point where they're leaving the green room because it's embarrassing and stuff like that for their family, which is always a bummer to see. Um, I think for the most part, you're right. It was a weird night. I mean, as a Celtics fan, I was disappointed that we didn't move the three. So after that, it was kind of like a letdown, in my opinion. But definitely a lot of teams got players that are going to be able to help them right away.
Yeah, Timmy, what do you got?
I agree with all of that. The thing that stood out to me was the presence of like the international players was more dominant in the first round even than I expected it to be. That's partially because the Boston Celtics are just they think they know more than everybody else and they reached for guys at 16 and 23.
French
But
Draymond.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, it's not even just that. Thon Maker going at 10 was
Yeah, absurd.
weird. And
Absurd.
then you get Papa Giannis at 13. Bender went. Wait, what? Did Bender go
Four.
7?
Four.
Yeah, I mean 4. Um, Hernan Gomez and then Busele all in the lottery range, really. So I just thought that it was interesting the way that that played out. And then the result of that is you have guys like, for example, where do you go? Deonta Davis fell to 31. He was looking like he might be a lottery pick.
Should have been a lottery pick.
Yeah, that was a
Um,
steal. Who drafted him?
the
The Celtics?
Grizz.
Oh, they traded him? That's so weird.
Yeah, I totally agree. It was so weird. I I don't know. We all knew that the first two picks were gonna go the way that we knew, and then like after that, it was gonna kind of be like whatever team liked certain players, because I think that's what it really came down to. But I don't even think it was that. I just think like teams just drafted people because they had a pick. Like Papa Giannis, like that pick literally made absolutely no sense. You have like three centers on your team. Now you have five or four centers. Are you gonna play like a three center lineup with Papa Giannis, Willie Cauley Stein, and DeMarcus Cousins and Scal off the bench? Um, but yeah, it was weird. I kind of want to talk a little bit about that trade. There were a couple trades before the draft. With the Jeff Teague to Indiana, George Hill to Utah, which is pretty good trade for both like teams. Like with the three-way trade. And Atlanta got the 12th pick. I think they really wanted Sabonis, but he fell off the board, so they kind of had to settle. I like Torian Prince, but I think he was taken a little high. I just want to get your reaction to maybe the winner of that trade, because I still don't know who won that trade. Timmy, what do you got on the OKC Orlando trade?
That trade, I think, at first I thought that it was ridiculous, and I thought both teams lost the trade. But as it's settled in a little bit more, it does sort of make sense. I think OKC, I think it was wise of them to trade Ibaka because it's came out. I mean, I think I even saw a tweet today saying like it was increasingly likely he was going to leave with his
Yeah.
free agency because he wasn't playing a big enough role, and he was diminishing in value by the way they were stuffing him in the corner. So and then they got back three players, two of which, well, Oladipo, who could develop into something special for them if he could ever start shooting reliably, which is it's funny. He's like the perfect OKC guy because he's like a shooter who can't shoot. Um, But yeah, I do think it's a good trade. It doesn't really make sense in Orlando's timeline. Is the only thing that throws me off.
I get it for Orlando though. I get that they want to take a little risk on a potential former star. I don't think Ibaka was ever an all-star, right? No. But
Yeah, but they had a potential developing all-star though, and they got rid of him.
yeah, but I get it because you can't play Alfred Payton and Oladipo together. You just can't. Like that's just like a terrible offensive backcourt. And I mean, I'm not saying Brennan Jennings is that good. And then you need room for Hazonia too, and Hazonia didn't get any burn. So I get it. I get the trade. I kind of don't get it for OKC that much anymore. Oladipo doesn't do it for me, but I do like his defensive ability, and I think that if they could play three guards with Roberson, Westbrook, and Oladipo, and then KD at the four and Adams, that's a fun lineup.
There's three guards who can't shoot.
Yeah, but KD can shoot.
Yeah.
You have two guys who aren't going to shoot the ball that much. You have KD and Westbrook. But yeah, that's true. They can't shoot, I guess. All right, put Dion out there then.
There's another guy who can't shoot, but
yeah, he's not that bad. But I think the steal for OKC was they got Sabonis. I love Sabonis. Like he's gonna. Connor.
Was it one of you that said Sabonis was Mitch McGarry, like 2.0?
That was probably Timmy.
I don't know. I thought it was one of you, but
that wasn't me.
it wasn't me either.
I mean, I'm pretty high on Sabonis. I think he's a real physical force down there. I think if there was ever a time that him and Steven Adams front line,
yeah,
that'd be very imposing, very tough, physical front line. As far as the trade goes, I think I'd have to say OKC was the winner of that trade. I don't think Serge Ibaka makes. I don't even think Serge Ibaka makes the Magic a playoff team, to be honest. I don't think he does enough on the offensive end to really make up for anything. He'll obviously improve them on the defensive end and give them a little bit more athleticism up front, but I don't think he does enough to really improve their team by maybe like 2 or 3 more wins he could bring them or something like that, but he's not someone that you put on the team and you think, wow, they're automatically better. And I think OKC is constantly looking for people to put around Durant and Westbrook. They got some of that. They got a stretch 4 in Ilyasova. They got Sabonis, who's a post presence and stuff like that. And Oladipo, you guys mentioned it. He's an inefficient shooter and stuff like that, and it's kind of streaky. But he is a scorer, and he's a good defender on the perimeter. And I think whoever brought it up, the 3-guard lineup with Roberson, Oladipo, and Westbrook, and then KD and Adams would be. I think that'd be a lineup that'd be tough to match up with because you have 4+ defenders on that team or in that lineup, and I think that gives them a lot of defensive versatility. So I think OKC won, in my opinion. I mean, and this is all. I also think a bit of this is a little bit of precaution in case Durant leaves. Because Oladipo gives them another scoring option. Obviously, he's not anywhere near what Durant was or anything like that, obviously. But he gives them another scoring option, and they get some pieces back that could make up for if Durant is thinking about leaving.
Do you think that this affects anything? Because Durant is kind of pretty good friends, and I think he liked having Ibaka on the team. Do you think it really affects anything?
I don't think so, because at the heart of it, I think it was a move to put more pieces around KD. I think they're more willing to cope with losing Serge because of the postseason that Adams had and his emergence as a real force on the inside, both on the defensive end and his ability to catch lobs and finish on the offensive end. So I don't know what kind of effect it will have on KD if he was like friends with Ibaka or anything like that. But I think the move was made with the intentions of trying to be like, hey, KD, we're like willing to make some sacrifices and bring in some other pieces that might be able to help us.
Yeah, the interesting chatter, Timmy, hold on, I just want to say one thing, was that Ibaka's 26, but he might be older than that, and that was the thing with Thon Maker too. Thon Maker's 19, but he might be older than that.
Thon Maker's actually 42.
Yeah.
You didn't hear?
But so that's a good move by OKC's to start getting young again. They got Sabonis, got Oladipo. I mean, Ersan Ilyasova is a bum, but they still have him. And they're just trying to get young, and now OKC's looking like a pretty young team. They don't have any old players on their team. I literally don't think they have even.
Olsen.
Oh, I forgot about Nick Collison. If the OKC got rid of Collison, KD would leave in a heartbeat.
Yeah, probably.
So, Timmy, what do you got? Anything else?
I mean, I was just gonna say that like we were all getting at. I think OKC was just cutting bait. They knew that Ibaka was gonna leave at the end of the year, and they kind of got a haul for him when you think of it that way.
Yeah.
Like you said, they got younger by getting rid of Ibaka, and I mean, how many years are left on Oladipo's contract? Does anyone know?
I don't know, but it's definitely more.
It's still his rookie year, or his rookie deal. I think maybe a year or two more.
Right. So I mean, either way, they gained I almost would have taken the Oladipo for Ibaka straight up. Would have been like even a fine trade, and they got a little bit. They got Sabonis thrown in, which is nice.
Yeah,
nice
that's what I thought was crazy when I was like, well, I think it was because I think if you just said the 11th pick, you'd have been like, oh, that's fine, but because you thought it'd be like Scal or some of these high upside guys or whatever, but when they said Sabonis, I was like, because I'm pretty biased towards him, but I was like, that's a steal. Sabonis he's gonna play right away and he's gonna help out.
Yeah.
All right, we spent a lot of time in this trade. It is interesting. It's fascinating. But you're probably right, Connor. Orlando probably won't be a playoff team, but Serge is now the guy in Orlando. He's the best player on the Orlando Magic. I don't know if that's good or bad.
That's so bad.
That's not good at all.
All right, so
they traded away two of their 4 leading scorers this year.
Ersan was their 4th leading scorer.
Oladipo and Tobias Harris.
Oh yeah. I thought you were talking about this. Yeah, that Tobias Harris trade was actually robbery. I don't know why Stan Van Gundy isn't in jail. He gave up Brandon Jennings and Ersan Ilyasova for Tobias Harris and a 2nd-round pick.
It's ridiculous.
That's a lot of all right, and then I guess we can touch a little bit on the George Hill and Jeff Teague thing. They're the same player. I think George Hill's a little better because he's on defense, but realistically, they're the same player. I think it's interesting that Jeff Teague is now on Indiana, another Eastern Conference foe. And now George Hill is a good point guard on the Jazz, and I think they're going to be hopefully a playoff team because that'd be fun to watch. This starting lineup's interesting. They're very defensive. Yeah. Do you guys want to touch anything on that or no?
I think just the Pacers adding Teague alone might not have had that much of an impact, but adding Thad Young to that as well, that's a relatively good starting 5 in my opinion. Good to go along with Turner, Ellis, and Paul George, of course. So I think they got markedly better, in my opinion, via those 2 trades.
Well, they've totally changed their identity since Vogel left. That's a flying offensive team right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. Tim, you got anything?
I mean, I agree. I think Indiana benefited the most from the trade. I don't agree. I do agree that George Hill is underrated. I don't agree that he's as good as Jeff Teague. I think Jeff Teague's a little underrated too. But yeah, I think the Jeff Teague trade would have been beneficial on its own, but the addition of Thad Young too, I think they should be in the mix this year with Miami and Boston for 3, 4, 5, 6 seed in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I mean now Atlanta, they handed the keys off to Schroeder. They don't re-sign Horford. They're back to the drawing board, kind of. I mean, I think that's kind of what they thought when trading Teague, because they're we don't even our best. If our players played their best, they're not gonna make it that far. So I mean, they've never won a game against Cleveland in 2 years. So
right.
So they obviously were like, T, you gotta go, and if Horford leaves, I mean, that's tough. All right, so let's talk about some winners and losers of the night. If we start from the top, I mean, the Sixers won, man. The Sixers, I mean, they're not. It's gonna take a little while still. Trust the process, even though Hinkie's not there anymore. But man, they got some fun pieces to play with now. What do you got on them, Timmy, real quick?
I mean, that was a steal getting Luwawu at 24.
Yeah.
And that was a steal getting Korkmaz at 26.
I know.
So I don't even know enough about. I've watched highlight tapes of both of those guys. I don't know if they'll play next year, but either way, I mean, Philly, the amount of assets and young players who have proven nothing but have a ton of upside and promise, who are going to be entering the league over the next 1 to 2 years is scary. And I mean, even next year, I think the addition of Ben Simmons is going to bump him up.
Yeah,
10 wins.
And what if they have another bad year? That's fine. They have one more year where they can get solid draft picks. Next year's draft's going to be great, and then they should start really trying to see who are the guys that are going to help this team win, because they obviously still have 3 centers that they don't want. And if Joel Embiid plays this year, I think that's where they're going to feel it out. I think that they're going to play with all 3 until the trade deadline, then they're going to try to make a move. And on a side note, I'm happy Boston did not deal for Noel. I don't know if that report was true about what they offered for him. The 3rd pick. What was it? It was like
There's 24, 26, Noel, and Covington.
Was that true though?
I don't know if it was true. But
I don't think that could have been true, because I think
Yeah.
the Celtics would have taken that.
Yeah, that's a lot. And then the thing. All right. So the Sixers, we agree, are big winners. I kind of want to touch on the Celtics obviously for a minute. I'm very okay with taking Jaylen Brown. I know you guys have your different thoughts. I mean, as a Celtics fan and knowing multiple Celtics fans, obviously, I think people are upset because they were like, oh, we could have traded this for Jimmy Butler, or we could have traded this for somebody that could have helped out. It's not that easy. The Celtics really don't have that many assets that can help out right away. That 3rd pick is really not that, like, shiny. Like, it's the 3rd pick. Like, who are you going to get? Dragan Bender? You're going to get Jaylen Brown? Chris Dunn is kind of shiny if you're looking at it, because he's a point guard that can help out right away. But, I mean, I'm sure – I don't know if the Bulls were asking for that. I read a tweet or something. I don't know if it's true, but I guess they were asking for a lot.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know if that was true. Because then
I don't know if it was either.
Because then you read what the Timberwolves were offered, and it was what, Levine and
5.
Yeah, I would have taken that if I were the Timberwolves in a heartbeat, but that's just me.
No, yeah, that package that was going around, what the Bulls were asking for, sounded like something that the Celtics would leak to make them look better about not trading.
Was it 316 Crowder and Bradley?
No, it was
23 Crowder, Bradley Smart.
and next year's first round Brooklyn pick.
Right.
Yeah, you should give me Jimmy Butler and like, I don't know, Michael Jordan or
Give
something.
me your whole team. Yeah, that's
man.
insane.
But I'm just saying, the Celtics stayed pat, and I know people are upset, but that was the right move. They're taking a swing on Jaylen Brown, who they don't need another guard. They need a guy with high upside who's gonna probably play right away. He might not help out that much, but he's great size and he's on the wing, and I just think he was worth the pick. I don't know what you guys think.
I like the Jaylen Brown pick. I had come to accept that they were going to pick Jaylen Brown by the start of draft week, and I was excited about it. I've been watching like a lot of his videos on YouTube and stuff, but it's easy to get excited about him when you get in that mindset. But the reason that people are upset is because taking the pick, I think the Celtics are due for a regression this season, and I think that this pick kind of says that, because if you're going to take a guy 3rd overall, you're going to play him. And he's not this guy's not ready to contribute immediately. You're going to be dealing with – you go.
No, and you're right, though. That's the way you have to get him to get to the level you want. You have to play him. Like, I mean, Kristaps is one of the, like, lucky cases where he contributed greatly in his first year. But you see so many guys that don't play a lot in their first year, and they never come back from that. You got to play him. You got to get him in the game. We played Smart a lot his first year. He wasn't ready. I mean, he still really isn't ready, but he's definitely progressed.
Yeah.
Connor, what do you got on the Celtics?
I think a lot of the outrage was because that they didn't trade it. I think a lot of people, it doesn't have to do really anything with Jaylen Brown himself, which I think a lot of the initial outrage was, being pissed off about Jaylen Brown, someone that no one really knew about because he played on the West Coast. All his games started at 10:30, so like no one knew anything about him.
Yeah.
But I think it really was just the fact that that there wasn't a trade, that there wasn't these fireworks that Grossbeck has been preaching about for the past 2 years. And to I guess, I hate to say this about basketball, but to Felger and Maz's credit, he said that Wyc Grossbeck has set himself up for this kind of reaction by saying fireworks, fireworks, fireworks over the past 2 years, and then picking Jaylen Brown. It's nothing against Jaylen Brown. I'm sure he has the potential to be a really great player, but at this point we've been primed as Celtics fans to expect a big boom, a big free agency boom, or a big trade boom for an all-star, and it just hasn't happened. So I think based on that, I'd say the draft was a failure. But then going back and looking at it, the talent that we got although unconventional at some points at the 16 and 23 especially. The talent, we got some pretty good talent overall. I don't know if you guys saw the Chad Ford piece where he graded everyone's draft. And he said based on talent-wise, the Celtics got an A- because we got some really good prospects. But he just said as expectations, it wasn't what Boston was looking for.
I mean, the thing is like we had what do we have 8 picks at the beginning or whatever, and we weren't going to draft every pick, and we did draft more than I thought we were going to draft, and I think we drafted some players that we probably will never see in a Celtics uniform for a while, or we may never see. But you're right. We got Ben Bento pretty late, and he's really good offensive player. I don't know if he'll play. He might be D-League. And then Demetrius Jackson's like he was a projected lottery pick, and he's got high upside. But you're right. It's just the fans wanted fireworks, wanted to trade. They heard all these rumors. Woj was tweeting like from the get-go, like Celtics are in all these talks. Jimmy Butler, Noel, all this stuff. Timmy, are you all right?
Yes.
You look startled.
Yeah. No. Whatever.
All right. Yeah, but
Just fell on the stairs. She's okay though.
It's just not even home. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Oh no. Maybe it's Cersei.
Is that a Game of Thrones?
Yeah, I don't watch it, but I heard she's like a bad chick.
Yeah, it was wild last night.
I heard last night was pretty lit. All right. Let's go over some winners and losers. I'll start with one of my winners, and then you guys just give me one winner as well. I'm gonna go with the Spurs. Spurs are a big winner of the night. They had 1 draft pick, and of course nobody takes DeJounte Murray till 29, and the Spurs do. And he's a very raw prospect, high upside, but he's going to a perfect organization that doesn't need to play him right away, and he'll have time to learn how to play. And I just thought that pick was awesome, and I'm jealous as a Celtics fan. Like, not that we need DeJounte Murray, but I'm just jealous that the Spurs got DeJounte Murray at 29, who could have easily been a top 15 pick. Timmy, who do you got for one winner?
The Memphis Grizzlies, I thought, had a pretty great draft. They got Wade Baldwin, and they got Deonta Davis.
Yeah, that's a huge. I love Wade Baldwin.
Yeah, I mean, and both of those guys, I think, Baldwin went right around where he probably was projected, but Deonta Davis dropped a lot, and that was a great pickup for them at the spot where they got it.
I felt bad when watching it, and he had to leave the green room.
That was tough to watch.
I think it's good though. I think he's gonna like play with that chip on his shoulder. I'm not saying he's gonna be like Draymond and be like this superstar, but I think you remember. Obviously, you remember that, and like it's worked pretty well for some guys in the past where they remember that people pass on them, and then they try to prove it. And I think Deonta Davis has a lot of upside. But yeah, Connor, what do you got?
I'm gonna go. I thought the Suns had a really good draft.
Yeah.
They got Bender at 4. Obviously, unproven, not too much that we know about him, but still, a prospect with a lot of potential. Someone that they can work on. And then Marquise Chris, who I think a lot of people liked. There was a lot of buzz around him, especially in the last few weeks before the draft. And then Tyler Ulis, too, which is an underrated prospect. Yep. He'll get one into a 3 point guard rotation with the Suns because that's what they love to do, and eventually trade one of them and then lose that trade badly. But, I think they got a lot of good talent for their picks. I think they got a lot of players that will be able to help them right away and bring things to the team that they don't necessarily have right now. So I think they chose wisely and came away with some pretty good prospects too.
Yeah, and Ulis is boys with Devin Booker and most of the Kentucky guys. And I just don't understand why Calipari just doesn't go to Phoenix. I mean, they got a full Kentucky backcourt. Now they just need like a couple of Kentucky frontcourt players from the Kings, and then they should merge teams, and then Cal should coach. All right, yeah. I also had the Warriors as a winner. I know it sucks that they're a winner, but they got Patrick McCaw at 38, and that really upset me because I love Patrick McCaw, and he's awesome, and he's gonna help out. Okay, quick losers. Losers, honestly though, there weren't that many losers. I got one. I'm sure we all have the same one. And, I mean, Timmy, you can start.
The Kings?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
They're a
Okay,
huge
yeah.
loser.
I was just making sure there wasn't another loser. Yeah, what is wrong with them?
I don't know.
It was the stupidest move ever taking. We already talked about it, but Papagiannis at 13 when they already have Costa Kufos, Willie Cauley-Stein, and DeMarcus Cousins. And then I don't hate trading Marco Bellinelli and they turned that into Malachi Richardson.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's a decent move. And honestly, I like taking Scal was stupid, but getting him at 28 was smart.
Yes.
So they have 5 centers. I don't know what to say.
They should just play Scal at the point. Just start making him a ball handler.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was just so much talent on the board at 13, and then they take Papagiannis. It's just the Kings, like
This is the one position they don't have a need at.
literally. Do they think Boogie's gone? Like, there's no way. Boogie said that tweet didn't mean anything. There's no way that what you think he just no way. He's just upset that Vivek and Vladi think that Papagiannis is the second coming of I don't know, somebody. Connor, who do you got?
I mean, the Kings are a train wreck. Like you said, there weren't too many standout losers. I think you will have to wait and see about with the Bucks, Thon Maker at 10, if that was a reach.
I think they're a loser.
Okay, yeah. I was going to give him a little bit of time to see what he turned out to be, but that could be a huge disappointment to take him at 10, and if he doesn't work out or if he ends up being not what they want him to
25
be.
years old.
Yeah.
He ends up being about to retire soon, then it's not going to be good, and it's not going to. They wasted a top 10 pick on, especially when there were shooters on the board that they could have taken.
Which
I know
is what
maybe it would have been.
They needed that. They needed shooters.
That. I guess if you watch some of the tape on Maker, I guess he can stretch the floor a bit. But like you said, he's unproven. He's never played against any real competition. So that would be, in my opinion, I'll give them a year or so of playing time with Thon Maker to see if that's a negative or not. But it's up in the air right now. And then obviously the Kings are just. It's must see TV whenever they're around because it's something bananas is gonna happen and it's gonna blow you away because you're gonna try and think of all of the things that could go wrong or all the drama that could happen and you'd be like, wow, these are all the things that could happen, and then they're gonna come in and just blow your mind, just knock all the walls down and be like, nope, here's another drama that you didn't even think about happening. It's awesome.
Their depth chart.
Is it 5 centers and then everyone else is just one player at each position?
I mean, they have Willie Cauley-Stein at power forward, which I don't even agree with. But so they have 2 centers.
DeMarcus at power forward, don't they?
Yes, but they have 1 point guard and it's Darren Collison, and 1 shooting guard and it's Ben McLemore.
Yeah, Ben McLemore is the same player as Malachi Richardson.
It doesn't make sense at all.
I mean, Darren Collison, I'm pretty sure he got arrested or something. I read that somewhere. So
he might have.
Seth Curry with the shot though.
I mean, they have him. Why isn't he on their depth chart?
Maybe he's a free agent.
He released. He didn't pick up the option on his contract. He had free agency.
There's one guy smart enough to get out of there.
They should sign him. Okay, I was just gonna say that the Kings obviously are a train wreck, but I think the Bucks are a loser. The Bucks are in a great spot. They have such an intriguing team. But I get why they took a risk on Maker. It's this guy with great length and he's 7 feet tall. He can play the point guard. They have Giannis. He does the same types of things, and it's whatever. But at 10, you could have got a guy who could have helped out right away. Has a little more to prove. It's a little more proven. You're right, Connor. They need shooting, and you're right, Thon Maker. We don't know what he can do. He has no stats. He plays against he could have been playing against high schoolers for his whole life or middle schoolers.
As a 27-year-old.
It's a risk, but I get the appeal, and I get that lineup in my head with Giannis, Middleton, Jabari, I don't know, Michael Carter-Williams, and Thon Maker. That'd be fun. It would be fun, but I just think it was such a risk.
I was watching. There's some I can't remember what game it was, but there was some rookie or prospect showcase, and it was Jaylen Brown versus Thon Maker showdown video, which was awesome. But I mean, Thon Maker was very impressive in that game, but he's playing against, like you said, high school kids. He might have been 20 at that time of that game, and he's like dunking over these kids, getting all the rebounds. I think he put up like 32 and 15 or something in that game.
Yeah, I mean he is fun, and I think he'll bring some appeal to the Bucks. I just think it was risky. I did like how they did draft Malcolm Brogdon. I think he'll be a good fit on the Bucks. He'll be able to help out right away too. He kind of reminds me of Chris Middleton a little bit. All right, that's about it for the draft.
One quick note: Celtics got a meeting with Kevin Durant.
Yeah, so did
On
I.
Thursday.
I have a meeting next week at a coffee shop with him. I was thinking, like, if you're the Celtics, who do you throw in that meeting?
That's what I was going to ask. Like, what do you bring to the pitch? Do you fly
Isaiah, Jace Crowder smoking a cigar,
Bill
Brad, Kelly O.
Should Brad be dunking on that trampoline like he did middle of the season?
No, Brad's wearing a polo with the Currys. The Currys on. No, the Durants.
The Curry twos. I don't think they're bringing anyone other than IT, Danny, Brad Stevens.
Put Kelly O with the man bun in there.
Oh god. You have zero shot of Durant if you bring Kelly
Think
over.
about that though. You think we have a shot if we throw Isaiah in there? Like he's just.
Did you read the Vertical article today listing Boston as the second most likely destination?
What was first? OKC?
Yes.
I don't think Boston's most second likely, to be honest.
I don't think so either.
I just think it's we went from last year not being able to get a meeting with freaking Greg Monroe to getting being on the short list out of 6 teams in the NBA to get a meeting with KD. I don't know. I still don't think it's going to happen, but it's a step in the right direction if he's actually like setting up a meeting with us and actually just hearing us out in the first place.
And here's the key, though, right? I read this on Twitter, so I won't take credit. I forget who tweeted it, but Boston they can say they can sign 2 max guys. So KD,
Yep.
who do you want? But is that guy going to be better than Westbrook? I don't think so.
No, he's not going to be better.
Could be more compatible though.
No, I don't think. Yeah, but I don't think he'll be better than Westbrook.
No one that the Celtics could sign with the second max contract is better than what any of the other 5 teams getting the meetings already have, except maybe Miami.
Yeah, that's true.
Not even close.
Well, Boston's definitely in front of New York. If New York thinks they're getting Kevin Durant, they're crazy. I'm not starting to believe, but I'm starting to like get nervous that Kevin Durant's going to be like maybe Golden State.
That'd be bananas.
But I keep saying to myself, he can't be the second guy, or even some nights like the 4th guy. Say Draymond and Clay are going, like that's just weird. Like like Steph's his own brand out there, and then KD would be in the shadows. Like I can't see that. I could maybe see San Antonio because he still would be the guy, but it's a system kind of.
I would love San Antonio.
Miami would be cool, but I don't think he'll sign there. I think it's just going to be he'll sign back to OKC, and then it'll be interesting next year to see what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even think Miami without Whiteside is that appealing of a team. I think he brought a lot to the table for them last year.
Yeah, the Celtics are probably going to meet with Whiteside, too.
I don't know about that.
Well, he's deciding on Friday, I think, right?
Yeah, I said we want to just choose as soon as like on the day of.
He just doesn't. I mean, I just don't know if he's gonna have any interest in like a cold city. Like, not that I know the guy, but I just think
you don't know it's on Whiteside, man.
No, I think he's gonna go to the Lakers.
Oh, that would be terrible. Lakers also had a good draft, and basically just because they got lucky with the second pick and they get to draft Ingram. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna talk. All right. So we have a free agency podcast coming out on Thursday, so we won't talk about too much free agency stuff here. We're gonna kind of like just preview before free agency starts, talk about some of the bigger names and what we think might happen. Last year was crazy, and 4th of July weekend is gonna be crazy because that's usually when all this stuff gets pretty bananas. So that's the NBA draft recap. There's nothing on TV anymore.
There is. Summer League starts on Monday.
Yeah, but like, there's actually nothing on TV.
I do want to watch Jaylen Brown in Summer League.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
The Euro 2016 football tournament has been great so far.
Iceland.
Didn't England lose today?
Yeah, Iceland.
Yeah, and their manager resigned right after the game.
No, really?
Didn't Italy shut out Spain 2-0 today? Yep.
Italia.
All right. Well, I mean, maybe
Also, Rio Olympics. Basketball back in
Yeah.
for Rio, too. That'd be fun.
our team. This is like our C plus B minus team. We're still gonna
Yep.
win.
Yep. Everyone who doesn't want to get Zika, and then Harrison Barnes is like, I need a max contract, so.
Stop.
Everyone who doesn't care if they get Zika.
I feel like we're gonna talk about Harrison Barnes on Thursday for way too long, because he's like the most interesting max contract guy ever.
That's so despicable.
All right. Well, all right, guys. Enjoy your night. Thank you. Follow us on Twitter, Around the Association Pod. Catch us on YouTube. Enjoy your night.